Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this cut together wide leg jumpsuit. Cut together meaning that there is no joining at the waistline, so it's literally a one-piece outfit. Anyways, kindly tap the subscribe button below your screen if you haven't done so before, and also tap the like button. Thank you. So for today's wide leg jumpsuit tutorial, the first thing you need to get is your basic dress block, and this is mine here. This is the one for the front. So we are going to be starting our drafting with the front of our pattern. Now the next thing you need to do is to determine how long you want your jumpsuit to be. So for me, I'm using my full length, so I'm going to measure from my shoulders here straight to the hem, and my full length is 62 inches, so I'm just going to measure 62 inches from here, and this is what I have already right here. Now the next thing will be for me to draw the shape of neckline I want. So from my across chest right here, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. So this is it right here. Now I'm going to locate how deep I want my neckline to be. So it's a kind of V neckline, so I'm going to locate how deep I want it to be, and for me, I'm just going to measure from this is my armhole level here, so I'm just going to measure 1 inch down from my armhole level, or half inch. I'm going to measure half inch down from my armhole level, so that's my depth, the depth of my neckline. Now I'm going to connect this part to this part with my French curl. So yeah, this is my neckline right here. So I'm going to draw a straight line from here. So the straight line is just going to be about half inch. So this is going to be the strap of my front. That is the strap of my jumpsuit. So I'm just going to measure what I have from here to here, and then I'll write it down somewhere, so I'll be using it later. Now the next thing will be for me to locate my crotch depth measurement, and to get your crotch depth measurement, the first thing you need to do is to get your body rise measurement. So crotch depth, let me just write what you need for the crotch depth. So crotch depth CD equals your body rise measurement plus 3/4 inches. So what's your body rise measurement? Just sit down on a stool, on a flat stool, and measure from your waist. You measure from your waistline to the top of the stool where your bum hits the stool. So I hope you got the drift. So you can see a picture representation on the screen right now. So yeah, that's how to get your body rise. So my body rise measurement is 10 inches. So I'm going to add 3/4 inches to that. So for me, my crotch depth measurement is 10.75 inches. So now to locate that, before I locate that, I'm going to come to my waistline right here. So just measure 1.5 inches down from your waistline. So measure it down. So pretty much. So I'm going to measure 1.5 inches down. So this is the 1.5 inches down. I just measured from here down, from here down. So now I'm going to measure my crotch depth measurement, this 10.75 inches. I'm going to measure it from here down, so wherever it gets to, I'm going to just like measure it there. So measure it this way. So this is it right here, my crotch depth measurement. So all I did was to measure it from here down, so this is my crotch depth level right here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to come to the hem of my pattern here, and then I'm going to extend the hem of my pattern. You notice the jumpsuit is kind of wide, so I'm just going to extend my width from here out. So I'm going to measure 1.5 inches out, and this is it right here. And then I'm going to reconnect this back to my hip level. This is my hip measurement here. So please note, this is my crotch depth level, this is my hip level, and this is my waist level. So you got the drift. So I'm going to reconnect this from here. I'll reconnect it back to my hip, or you can also reconnect it back to your waist. It depends on you. It depends on how wide you want it. So I'm just going to reconnect mine back to my hip here. Now we are not done. I'm going to now pick a piece of paper, and then I'm going to place it right here. I'm going to place it in the I'm going to place it here so you can see. So I'm going to tape this down, and now this is it. This is the new paper attached. So I'm going to extend my crotch depth measurements here. I'm just going to extend the line out. So pretty much now we are going to use we are going to locate our front line, that is our front crotch. So your front crotch is your hip measurement divided by 8 minus 3/4 inches. So for me, my own hip measurement is 38 inches, so I'll divide that by 8. Whatever I get, I'm going to subtract 3/4 inches from that. So yeah, so after doing all this calculation, I got 4 inches. So I'm going to come from here, this point right here, and then I'm going to measure that 4 inches out on my crotch depth level. You remember, this is still our crotch depth level. So I'm going to measure that 4 inches out, and this is it right here. So I'm just going to keep measuring that 4 inches out this way till I get to the hem of my pattern. So now you connect. I'm going to connect it down. Please, there was a little mistake here. This is not my crotch depth level. This is my crotch depth level here. So I'm just going to cancel it out. So I'm going to cancel all of these spots out. So this is my hip level, just because of all the calculations I did here. So it confused me a little. So pretty much, so this is my crotch depth level right here. So let's cancel this off. So yeah, that's that. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to place my tape rule. I'm going to place it at this spot right here on my crotch depth level, and so I'm going to measure 1.6 inches up, or 1.5 inches rather. So just measure 1.5 inches up here, and this is it. So I'm just going to draw the diagonal line. So you got the drift. All you have to do is to just place your tape measure diagonally like this, and then you measure 1.5 inches up. So you draw, and this is the line right here. So now I'm going to place my French curve this way, and then I'm going to make sure my French curve touches this diagonal line here, this point here, and then it also comes to touch this point and also touches my front line right here. So I hope you got the drift. So it will touch, let me first draw it this way. So it will touch this here, then I'm going to make sure it touches this spot here. This curve here is going to come to touch this spot here. So yeah, that's that. This is the curve right here, and this is my crotch length. This represents my front crotch. So yeah, that completes it. So remember that at the hem here we extended from here by 1.5 inches. So I'm going to come right here again and do the same thing at the hem on this side. So now I'm going to reconnect it this way to this spot here. So yeah, that's that. Now all you have to do is to now cut all of this out, or before you cut it out you can just add your allowances to this. So for the hem, just add the 1 inch allowance to the hem, ½ inch here, here, all the way up. At the neckline here you add the 1/4 inch, then you come to the armhole, ½ inch, your side 1 inch, all the way till the hem. So I hope you got the drift. So now we're going to work on the back, on our back pattern. Now for the back, everything we did for the front we have to do the same also for the back. So if you notice, I've already done that. So for the front, for the back, you locate your full length measurement like I did for the front, then you come right to the hem right here and extend it by 1.5 inches. Then you reconnect back to your hip just like we did for the front. Then you come to the neckline also, and then you locate, you use the same measurement I used for the front, and then you draw in your neckline, and then also locate your crotch depth, and this is my crotch depth level here. This is still my hip level. It's still the same measurements we used for the front that we'll use for the back crotch depth also, and this is my waist line. So the only thing different with the back is that the back crotch, the one we have to extend, is different from the one in front. Now to locate the back crotch, I'm going to place a piece of paper in the middle here again, just like I did for the front. So I'm going to use a paper tape to like attach this down. Now the paper is already attached. Now to locate the back crotch, I'm going to extend my crotch depth I'm going to extend it out. This is my crotch depth level, so I'm going to extend it out. And this is it. So now for your back crotch measurement, we are going to use another formula. So the formula for calculating your back crotch will be your hip measurement. Let me write it here. So it will be your hip measurement, then you divide it by 8, and then you add 3/4 inches to that. So for me, my hip measurement is 38. I'm going to divide that by 8, and then I'm going to add 3/4 inches to that. So whatever I get, I'm going to measure it from here out. From here, this line here, I'm going to measure it out. So after calculating that, I got 5.5 inches. So I'm going to measure this out here. So, and this is it right here. So that 5.5 inches, I'm going to keep measuring it from here out till I get to the hem, and then I'm going to connect. So yeah, this is it. So now at this point here, I'm going to place my tape measure, and then I'm going to measure 1.5 inches diagonally. So this is what I mean, and then I'm going to connect it. And now I'm going to place my French curve this way, and then I'm going to make sure my French curve touches my hip here. It touches this point here, and then it touches this curve. So after touching this curve, then it comes back to touch this. I said curve. After touching this diagonal line, it comes from here, touches this, and then touches this. So yeah, this is it. This is my back crotch here. So, and that completes it. So now all you have to do is to just add your allowance. So I'm going to add a 1/2 inch allowance here. So now you begin to add a 1/2 inch allowance here. So if you want to fix a zipper, make sure that from here you add 1 inch allowance here, 1 inch here, 1 inch here, 1 inch here. By the time you get maybe somewhere around there, you can stop the 1 inch and then begin to measure 1/2 inch allowance. So let me just do what I just explained now, so that I can understand what I mean. So this is what I mean. So this is my zip allowance. I measured 1 inch out here, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch till I got here, and this is my zip allowance. So if I'm attaching a zip allowance, this is where my zipper is going to stop, right here. So the rest bit here is I just measured 1/2 inch allowance. So we are not going to add a zipper here. This part here will just be the part you'll be joining to your you'll be joining together, but this part here will be the part will be attaching the zipper. So I hope you understand what I just explained. But if you are not fixing a zipper at the back of your own jumpsuit, just measure 1/2 inch allowance all the way up. So I hope you got it. So now before I forget, remember that on our front we had to, because here we measured 1.5 inches out to accommodate the wideness of the jumpsuit. So I have to do the measure also 1.5 inches out here, and then reconnect back to my crotch. So you got that right. So this is it pretty much. So I'm just going to keep measuring my allowance. So 1/2 inch allowance all the way down, 1 inch for the hem, 1 inch for the side right here, 1/2 inch for the armhole, and 1/4 inch for the neckline. So that's that for our back pattern. So I'm just going to cut this out now so you can see what it looks like. Also remember to draw in your strap like we did for the front. So I'm going to draw in the strap here. Then you measure the length of the strap from here up, and then write it down somewhere like we did for the front. So I'm just going to cut this all out now. So yeah, this is what our completed pattern is going to look like. So now you can just cut this on your fabric now, and then we'll move straight to sewing. If you want a pocket for yours like I did for mine, just draw a 1 inch border line on a paper, then place your palm on top of the border line this way. So you spread your fingers out this way. So I'm going to mark the highest point here. I'm going to mark this point here. I'll mark this point here, and then I'll mark this point here. Then I'll connect. So yeah, this is it connected. So just add the 1/2 inch allowance round all the way. So yeah, that's it. This is how I make my own pocket. So if you have another method of making your own pockets, you can use the method. But this is how I make my own pocket. So yeah, that's that. And this is what my pocket looks like. So I cut 2 pieces for this. So this for one side, and this also for the other side. So pretty much that's that. Now let's move straight to sewing all of the pieces together. So guys, to sew, cut 2 pieces of this for the front and also cut 2 pieces also for the back. Then remember the straps I mentioned earlier before we talk about straps in the first place. Also cut a facing or a lining for your jumpsuit. So you cut a facing that you can use to turn in your armhole and your neckline. Now for the straps, remember the strap measurements I asked you to write down earlier. So you wrote down the one for the front and you wrote down the one for the back. So the 2 of them, just add the 2 together, the front strap measurements and the back strap measurements, add it together. Whatever you get is going to be your full strap length. So this is my full strap length right here. So I'm just going to place it here. I'm going to place it right sides together with this. I'm using this suede type of like ribbon for my strap. So I'm going to place it right sides together at this point here, and then I'll sew down. Then you get your lining or your facing, you place it over it also right sides together, and then you can then sew your neckline and then sew your armhole. So I hope you got the drift. So by the time you turn your lining or facing inside, this goes up this way. So do you understand? So yeah, that's that for the strap. Once you are done doing for this one, once you are done sewing this one, then you also sew for this one too. So let's assume this is the second piece of the front. So front, the 2 pieces, then you cut for the back also. Then you attach your strap also here. So by the time, and then use your facing or lining to turn the neckline and armhole. So by the time you are done, you place both front pieces, you place them together this way, you place them together this way, and then you sew this middle here by 1/2 inch. So you sew it by 1/2 inch all the way around till you get here. So you stop at this point here. So you're not going to sew this part here. So by the time you sew, you iron and then you open it up this way. Then you do the same also for the 2 back pieces also. You place it right sides together after you must have turned the neckline and the armhole and fix the strap. Then you place it right sides together like this, and then you sew. So remember for the back, I measured like a 1 inch zip allowance here. So you sew along by 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. So by the time you get to the spot we stopped, you begin to sew 1/2 inch all the way till you get here. So remember, you're not going to sew this part here for the back. You know you have to fix in a zipper, but if you are not fixing in a zipper, you just sew 1/2 inch all the way around. So I hope you got the drift. Now the next thing to do after doing all of that is to place your pocket. So let's assume this is your pocket right here. So I'm going to place the pocket on this line here. So you place it right sides together on this line here, and you place the second one also right side together on that line, and then you sew. You can sew by 1 inch. Just sew it down by 1 inch. So by the time you are done sewing, it falls this way. So it falls this way. So pretty much, and then you do the same also for the other side also here. This one also, you sew it this way and then it falls this way also. And then you do the same also for the back. You know, remember that you're going to have a pocket also at the back. Remember we had 4 pieces of pocket. So these 2 for the front, these 2 for the front, and this remaining 2 for the back. So you do it exactly the way I explained here. And then by the time you are done doing that, then you leave it that way, and then you do the same also for the back. The exact same thing we did here, you do the same thing also for the back. Then you can now place your front and back pieces right sides together. So you sew at this spot, you sew this part here to the back jumpsuit piece, and then you sew this part here also to the back jumpsuit piece. So yeah, I'm just going to do all of that now, and then I'll show you the next thing to do. So guys, this is where I'm at with sewing. Everything that I explained earlier with my paper, I've done them on my fabric. So look at my straps and all, look at my facing here. I already used it to turn my neckline and my armhole. So I also joined the middle here and also the middle here. This is my front, this is my back right here. So, and also this is the crotch part of my trouser, what I explained last. So I said that you would sew this here, just like you would sew a trouser basically. So now the next thing I'm going to do, which is the final thing really, is to place them, the front and back, right sides together like this, and then I'm going to sew by 1 inch. Look at the pockets. So the pockets are going to align like this. So I'll sew by 1 inch from the top here all the way. When I get here, I'll come to this side, and then I'll begin to sew half inch, half inch, half inch, half inch till I get here. And then once I get here, I continue to sew my 1 inch all the way down. So once I'm done, I'm going to do the same also for this other side. So I'll do the same for this other side too. So pretty much, if your jumpsuit needs a zipper at the back, add the zipper. If you feel like you don't need the zipper, just join it and close it up all up. So I'm going to do all of this now, and then I'll sew all of this together, and then I'll show you what the finished outfit looks like. Don't forget to tap the subscribe button below your screen, guys. Tap the like button and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming tutorials when I post them. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.